Today is a very special day. Today is the day that I glide across the surface, you might say. Today is the day that I ride the Harley Davidson Road Glide ST. Oh my word. Let's get into this one. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're all well. So today's the day that I get to ride the Harley Davidson Road Glide ST. Lots of people have been sending me messages in since I've been on this journey to potentially look for a next bike, a lot of touring capability, and they've been saying, go try the Road Glide, go try the Road Glide. Now, bear in mind, I have tried the Road King Special, which I really loved, and the Street Glide Special, which I thought was a great bike as well, but I never tried the Road Glide, right? I went to my local Harley dealership and I said, hey, have you got a Road Glide that I could try? And they said, no, we haven't got one. They went to their sister dealership, let's say, and they had one, but they only had the Road Glide ST. So before I continue, I've got to say, just as I said when I rode the Low Rider ST, that the ST version isn't for me, because for me, again, it has to be touring capable, commuting capable, but it has to be able to have my missus on the back with me and have a top box as well. So whilst everything could be retrofitted to this, I would just go for the Road Glide Special. For me, that's where I'm at, and that's where I would be looking to go for. That being said, what they've done to this bike, they've tweaked it quite a bit. They put Olin suspension on the rear and they put a new set of pipes on it. It growls, it really does growl, and it's a big old beast, as we know, but it pulls. Once you turn it on, it really does pull. So this bike for me will be a great commuter on the open road. I know it's great on the motorways, great long distance, great if you had a comfortable seat, all that sort of stuff. Again, Road Glide Special I'm talking about. This wouldn't suit me, but one of those bikes, great open road, no problem. What I wanted to test it was on these kind of narrow roads, back roads. How would it perform? Now, is it heavy and cumbersome? This is going to be my problem. And it isn't. It's actually really nice to ride. It's really smooth in the bends. It rolls in the bends. But I will say this. It's so much better when it's rolling along 30, 40, 50 miles an hour and above. It gets smoother and smoother. This bike is for the open road. It's not really suited for these roads, although it does make the riding quite interesting. Now, let's just talk about this ST. The suspension is quite stiff, I thought. It's not a very comfortable ride. The solo seat, I thought, was quite stiff in the back as well. Not really for the comfortable ride. I get it that this is like the performance version, but it just does, you know, and I like performance riding, I like performance bikes. I just think the package on this, for me, is too much performance and less touring, and that's what I'm looking for, so that's where I'm going with it, right? But overall, the bike is great once it's rolling. How can I best describe the Road Glide? When I first got on it, I thought, what the hell is all this in front of me, right? What is all that in front of me? It's just like a big wedge of cheese right in front of me, right? As soon as I started rolling, I thought, how can I best describe it? It's like you go in a dinghy or a little two-man boat with a little engine on the back. When you first get in it, you're wobbling all over the place, but as soon as you twist on the motor and you start, you know, going down the river, it gets more and more stable. And that's what I found with it. At slow speed, when you want to put your foot down or where you want to turn, if you're off camber or trying to turn up a hill, you've got to be so careful with it, because the weight and everything just, it is a problem. Even for me, I thought I had to catch myself a couple of times. So if you're not used to it, those first few moments, it could easily catch you out. And if you're not paying attention, it could easily catch you out. Once you've been riding it for a while, and I've been riding it for about an hour now, it's a weirdest feeling, right? And if you own one of these Road Glides, whether it's a special or just an older Road Glide, or whether it's an ST, let me know. But once you've been riding it for a while, you don't even notice the fairing. you don't even notice how big it is or how far away it is, the instruments. You don't seem to notice it. Now, whilst I know there is a bit of functionality to change the display from the buttons, the touch screen lends itself to you touching it and leaning forward, but you are leaning quite a way forward just to touch everything and change everything. The radio, I had it going, but in all fairness, I couldn't really hear it that well with the sound of the engine, because this is a growler setup. So I didn't really hear it anyway, so it was kind of pointless it being on there for me. Although you can hook it up to a headset on your helmet, or that kind of thing if you wanted to. You could put your phone through it and all that sort of stuff. So there are ways around it. But it is like steering a boat when you first set off. But then it gets more stable. But at slow speed, you just got to be so careful. Or I've got to be so careful. What do I think of it? What do I think of it for me? I thought I was going to not like it at all. I kind of came in with like preconception, thinking, nah, it's not for me. Nah, I don't like it. I've got to try it out because you guys have been telling me to try it out. And I tell you what, I am so glad I did try it out, because whilst I already know that the ST version of the Road Glide isn't for me, the Road Glide Special is definitely a bike I would consider. Definitely a bike. I kind of like the mix of analog dials there and the digital display there as well, and the infotainment system. I like that. I don't mind the bar position. In fact, it's actually a really nice riding position. What I will say with the ST version and the air cleaner down there that sticks out, I am catching my knee on it quite a lot, and the floorboards are really nice. The floorboards are really nice and comfortable. But what I would say with this bike, if you are going to get it, definitely have the engine guards. Definitely have the engine guards, because I've got a feeling you could easily drop these bikes at slow speed. But let us know your thoughts on this. If you own one or if you've ridden one, what do you think? I personally, I think once it's rolling, it's a beautiful bike. But once you're at slow speed, you've got to be so careful. You might have to put your feet down and just paddle your way around, because it is, especially if you're a shorter rider. And even though it's got a low seat on it and it's fine for short riders, I've got a feeling that if you're not careful, if you're not used to it, or you're just new to riding the Road Glides, it might catch you out. So buyer beware, as it were, or rider beware, I should say. But I gotta say, it's a load of fun to ride. I thought it would be totally unusable really on these back roads, and I have sort of taken on some narrow stuff that probably shouldn't be taken on. Its home is not on these back roads. Its home is on the big open road, and we know that. Who are we kidding? We know that's what this is designed for. Big open roads, the American highway, interstate, that kind of thing. Well, we're in the UK, and most of the roads off the motorways are like this, right? They're really narrow, really congested, especially in the southeast of the country. So you need something that's a bit more agile. And I thought it would be totally the wrong bike, but it isn't. It isn't totally the wrong bike, but it isn't the best bike at it. And it certainly isn't the best Harley for these sorts of roads. No way. But if you're thinking about more motorway miles, more long distance miles, get a comfortable seat on it, get the Road Glide Special. And I tell you what, the big bulbous fairing, you don't even realize it's there after a while. It's just part of the bike. In fact, you're looking over the fairing for the most part. On the higher speeds, the wind buffeting, I'm just getting it full in the face. But if you wear a full face helmet, it's not a problem. You can get a taller screen as well, I'm sure, that'll deflect the wind a little bit. I'm a just over 6 foot rider, so I am in the breeze a little bit. But the wind in my face doesn't bother me. I know it bothers some people, it doesn't really bother me. But overall, it's a really nice riding position when you're rolling. It's a very slow speed. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Is the Road Glide ST for me? No. Is the Road Glide Special for me? Definitely a possibility, but it would have to have a top box on it, because I've been having sort of thoughts about getting my missus on the back. She wants a really comfortable seat. She doesn't like my Harley because there's no sort of backrest, there's no there's nothing behind it to make her feel secure. And also, even though I've got a sundowner seat on it, she doesn't find it that comfortable. So I'd want something like that. I'd want a Road Glide or a Street Glide or a Road King Special with some kind of suspension adjustment, And I'd also want something that's probably 2 years old, something like that, that's had all the work done, had a torque cam put on it, because I think you need it for the weight of these bikes. Had a torque cam, had a stage 2 done on it, and it's got low mileage. That's where I'm at. And if I found the right one, it would definitely be in the equation. But the problem is finding the right one with the low mileage and the work that's already been done on it, and for the right price. That's the factor here. But anyway, all I can say with this bike, the Road Glide ST from Harley Davidson, it is a bit of a boat. Definitely a bit of a boat at slow speed. And you feel as if you're steering a boat as well. But once you're on it and riding it, it's really, really nice to ride. And after a while, guarantee you don't even notice that that fairing is there. From the side, the longer I look at it, the more I like it. And I never thought I'd say that, that's for sure. The more, I can see why people go for these. I can see why there is this face-off between the Road Glide and the Street Glide. Which is better, which is better? The fixed fairing on here doesn't bother me one bit. I've ridden loads of bikes with fixed fairings and it's no problem at all. So for me, it's not an issue. For others, it would be. Yes, you are missing a lot of the road because of the big fairing. But again, that's something you'd just have to get used to. Coming from my Sport Glide to this, yeah, it's a massive difference, but you just have to get in sync with the bike and know what you're looking ahead, and you just control the bike accordingly. Do I think for a big expensive motorcycle it's the finished product? No. There's lots of things on here which I could start picking holes in, like the lack of LED lights on it for the indicators, you know, that kind of thing. The updated version, especially if you go CVO route, yeah, you've got a lot more refinement, but I think this should give you a lot more for the amount of money that you're paying for these bikes. But then again, there is a lot of bike here and a lot of riding experience and a lot of fun to be had, but it's got to be right for you and it's got to be right for me. And say this one isn't right for me, but one with a smoother, more Road Glide suspension and a Road Glide special with a top box as well, yeah, it's part of the equation. Definitely part of the equation. It's definitely part of the conversation, no doubt. Could I afford one? Could I find one that would be suitable for me? I doubt it. I doubt it. Not the way these prices are, and that's the problem, the prices of these things. Anyway, I'm going to have a bit more hooligan fun on this Road Glide ST from Harley Davidson. Big thanks to the boys at Harley for letting me demo this bike today. Anyway, all I can say is on to the next one. I'll catch you again. Bye now.